Good afternoon. Welcome to another XOTIC PC laptop review. And today we are reviewing the new SAGER NP9370, which is built on the Clevo P370EM. And if you haven't heard about this system yet, be prepared to be impressed. This is the newest 17.3-inch laptop from SAGER that features dual NVIDIA graphics cards or dual AMD graphics cards, either an SLI or in Crossfire. So it's a stunning laptop. We're pretty excited to bring you this review today. We want to thank you for joining us, and there's going to be a ton of different things we're going to be going over. First thing we'll go over is the system specs. We'll break down what we have in this NP9370, and actually on this system we put in dual 680M graphics cards. So we're going to be doing some overclocking and benchmarking later, and it's just impressive, this system from SAGER. We'll also be going over the exterior finish and size. We'll briefly break down the screen. We'll go over the keyboard. The keyboard on this, hopefully you can see it a little bit, is a backlit illuminating keyboard. We'll also discuss the point device. The point device on this system is a little bit different than I've seen before. We'll break that down for you. We'll go over the ports and the port package on this system. We'll go over the sound setup and the audio. Something a little different on this system that we haven't seen from SAGER in a little while. So we'll show you that later in the review. Like we mentioned, we'll be doing some benchmarking and overclocking of those dual 680Ms. Thermal temps and the heat output on this. Now the cooling system on this NP9370 is very impressive, and so we'll show you some thermal images and how the cooling actually works on this system. And then lastly, we'll take off the bottom cover and we'll show you the inside components, showing you those dual graphics cards, the CPU, the hard drives, etc., etc. So again, thank you for joining us today, and we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, the first thing we'll do with you is just break down the system specs. Now this is a 17.3-inch Full HD 1920 by 1080p glossy screen. Very nice screen. We'll go over that right after we get through these specs. For the CPU, the processor on here, we do have the newest 3rd generation Ivy Bridge i7-3610 quad mobile, and that's built on the HM77 chipset. For hard drive, we do have a standard 500 gigabyte 7200 RPM hard drive in here. SAGER's been putting those basically on all their models. It's just a stock hard drive. There is 2 hard drive bays and 1 mSATA slot in here as well. For the graphics card in here, like we mentioned, we do have dual 680M graphics cards from NVIDIA, the newest GeForce GTX in SLI mode, 4 gigabytes of video RAM, GDDR5. Simply stunning graphics cards. Stock in here right now is just dual 670M graphics cards, which is 1.5 gigabytes of video RAM in SLI mode. You can also get AMD 7970M. You can get a single, or you can get a dual Crossfire 7970M. And so the only other system out there right now that features either dual AMD or dual NVIDIA graphics cards is the Alienware M18X. So this system is, significantly cheaper than Alienware systems, and we'll break down those graphics cards for you later in the review. For the optical drive on this, we just have the standard optical drive, which is just a DVD burner. Again, that's basically the stock DVD burner that SAGER is putting on all their systems. However, you could put in an optical drive bay caddy, and then you could have 3 hard drives plus an mSATA. Overall, the specs on this is just phenomenal. The next thing we will go over with you is the screen. Okay, the next thing we wanted to show you here is just the screen. Now this is a 17.3-inch Full HD glossy screen. There are some upgrade options for you if you want as well. But overall, I'm pretty impressed with this screen. I mean, it is glossy, so there is quite a bit of reflection on it. When you're selecting a screen, one thing to keep in mind is the environment that you're going to primarily be using your laptop. Now, since this is such a bulky laptop, I would consider this a desktop replacement laptop. So the environment that you're working in is critical to, what screen is probably going to work best for you. Right now we're working in an environment that has quite a bit of backlighting. We do have some extra backlighting for this filming of this video review, and so in my personal opinion, I don't really like glossy screens, but it is a nice glossy screen. Panning from left to right, there isn't very much wash on here whatsoever. Hitting the maybe 80-degree mark off center, you're starting to see some wash. Coming down from top to bottom, there's not a fair amount of wash. Screens actually do perform fairly well from top to bottom, but most people don't use their laptop in this fashion. Now going back from bottom to top, and that is actually the widest viewing angle on this system. Hopefully you can see that there. There's very minimal wash from this direction as well, so overall the full HD glossy screen on this is a very nice screen, and SAGER's always been really good about what screens they do select for their stock screens. Okay, the next thing we'll talk about with you is the exterior finish. Now the back of the LCD panel, this is like a hard rubberized finish. It's very nice, it's very scratch resistant, so if you're loading this system into like your backpack for school or anything like that, it's very durable, which is very nice. The SAGER logo, that's standard, they always put those in the middle there. However, if you want, you can opt for what's called no branding, and they'll actually leave that SAGER emblem off. Now going over, I guess around the keyboard area, this area is very similar to the SAGER NP9370. There's some gloss inlaid around the keyboard area, and then you do have, well, I guess on the 9170 this is more of a brushed aluminum finish. However, on this 9370, this is going to be more of that rubberized material. And the advantage of having rubberized material here is that this is going to stay cooler than other materials. So the palm rest is always going to stay nice and cool when typing. So that's very nice. So rubberized finish here, which is the same as a rubberized finish on the back. And then around the keyboard area is a gloss inlay, this is very similar to the NP9170. So overall, very nice exterior finish. A couple things that they did a little different. We can actually show you this when we go over the ports too. But they have sort of a unique angle to this system coming around the bottom on either side. Something unique. Most SAGERs, usually this is just sort of flush, very minimalistic look. This system, however, has some harder angles on it, if you will, that we haven't seen before. Another new addition, and we'll also discuss this more when we go around the ports, is they actually have exhaust vent covers now with a nice little chrome edging around it. And we haven't seen that on Clevo systems or from SAGER in a very long time. I've never actually seen it before, but it's a very nice look. To me, it's somewhat similar to the ASUS series with having the afterburner exhaust out the back. Very nice overall exterior finish. Next thing we'll briefly touch on is the size. Okay, the next thing we just wanted to briefly discuss with you is the size. Now, like we had mentioned, a little bit ago, this definitely is a desktop replacement, a DTR laptop. This is going to be one of the bigger laptops out there, and we'll actually show you a little size comparison on your screen right now for the size. It is 16.5 inches across, just over 11.5 inches deep, and then the height on it ranges to a max of just under 2 inches. And there's actually a few notebooks out there on their thicker end is bigger than 2 inches, but overall this is definitely one of the bigger laptops out there. But we just wanted to show you a little size comparison on your screen, comparing it to the other SAGER 17.3-inch flagship laptop, the NP9170, comparing it to the Alienware's 17.3-inch laptop, which is the M17X, and then also comparing it to ASUS's G75 and then MSI's GT70. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of analysis as far as the size of it. Now weight is 8.6 pounds, and that's with the 8-cell battery pack in it. Okay, next we'll show you the keyboard and the point device. Now the keyboard on this is very nice. It's the backlit illuminating keyboard. It's the exact same island style keyboard that Sega's been putting on their other 9150 and 9170. So it's nice that they introduced a backlit keyboard on this. I would have been surprised if they actually didn't offer it on this system. And next we'll actually turn the lights off and show you what the keyboard looks like in the dark, and then show you the customizable interface where you can go in and change the backlight colors. Overall, there's virtually no flex to the keyboard whatsoever. Overall, it's very nice. The key response is very nice as well, very freed up. In my opinion, no complaints whatsoever on the keyboard. The point device, however, the point device to me is very different. I actually haven't played with a point device like this before. It's a single piece. It's a glossy finish. I'll zoom in here and hopefully maybe you can see some of the texture on it. It's to me it's just very different point device. The clickers themselves, located left and right, it's just different. When I hit it, you can actually see that the whole point device wants to shift. Now the sensitivity on it is nice, but to me it's just different having no separation there, which is very different than we've seen on any other SAGER laptops. And actually there is no fingerprint reader in the middle either, which is different. The fingerprint reader is actually located over here all the way on the right. And the advantage to a fingerprint reader is that then you don't have to worry about passwords, but for me personally, I don't utilize a fingerprint reader, so I was actually glad to see that they moved it away from the touchpad area. But the touchpad and point device to me is just very different. Unique texture to it, a glossy texture. No no division of the left and right clickers even from the point device area. So when I actually hit it, hopefully you can see that the whole point device actually moves. So I guess maybe it's not bad, it's just not anything that I'm used to. So the point device is something that you might have to get used to when you first unbox this SAGER NP9370. Okay, the next thing we'll show you here, we obviously kicked off the lights, and we wanted to show you what the keyboard looks like in the dark. Now it is customizable, fully backlit keyboard, and to get into the customization interface, you just simply hold function, and then there's a key right above the 8 up here. You hit that, and then your customizable keyboard screen pops up, and you can go in and you can change, I believe there's 3 different zones here. You select one zone, will change this to a red. Now you can see the WASD key, that section is red now. I guess we'll go a little patriotic on you. We'll do a little red, white, and blue, so we'll put white in the middle there. The interface isn't anything very impressive. It's not like the KLM software on the MSIs, but it's nice that SAGER is now introducing this customizable keyboard and a customizable interface for that keyboard. Okay, the next thing we're going to do on this beast is go over the ports. Now this is the left side. Starting on the left side, you do have a Kensington lock jack, RJ45 Ethernet port. You do have a 9-in-1 card reader. Now SAGER's been putting 9-in-1 card readers on all their systems, and in fact, me personally, I haven't seen any other laptop that has a full 9-in-1 card reader. Most are 7-in-1, 5-in-1, 4s-in-1s. So if you're in like the photography, videography field, it's nice that they give you that flexibility of having a 9-in-1 card reader. The audio ports here, you do have a line in SPDIF, microphone, and then a headphone jack. So fairly standard, audio ports there. Swinging around to the front, no ports in the front. That's obviously pretty typical. You do have 4 LED indicator lights here on the right side. You have a Bluetooth, a Wi-Fi. This is going to be your battery, and then this is power. And so right now, since we have the lid closed and it's in sleep mode, that's flashing. On the right side here, optical bay. The optical bay in here is really nice. It is just a standard DVD burner. However, you can upgrade to like a Blu-ray writer or a Blu-ray burner if you like, or you can opt for a optical drive bay caddy, which I believe is like 15 bucks, and then you can throw a hard drive in here as well. Over here we have an eSATA, and this is also a USB 2.0 combo. Then you have 3, and you should be able to see the blue in there. These are USB 3.0 ports, and then this first one right here, this is going to be a powered USB 3.0. So like right now we have the lid closed. If I wanted to plug in my iPod or my cell phone, I could plug it in here and still get power from the system even though it's in sleep mode, or even if it was just powered down. Swinging around to the back, we have some unique features here which you can see. We do have these new screened exhaust vent covers with a little chrome trim around the outside. This is something new that I haven't seen on a SAGER system ever. It definitely gives it a more aggressive, I guess, appeal on the backside. I really like it. I think it's very unique, and in fact there's actually 3 vents. There's a third one in the middle here. This is actually the CPU exhaust vent, and then both of these vents back here, I guess the more stylized vents, those are going to be for each of the GPUs. So there's a GPU exhaust vent for each, and then a CPU vent in the middle. Now for the ports on the back side, you do have an HDMI. This is 1.4a, and this does come with HDCP as well. Excuse me. You have a mini display port on the back. The revision on this depends on your graphics card. You do have a slightly different power port. You can see the 4-pin in there. That's a little bit different. And then towards the end of the review, I'll actually show you the massive power brick, the 300-watt power brick that comes with this system. And then finally, to wrap up here, you do have a 4th USB 3.0 port. Now one thing I will point out, which is a little different, there's no DVI or VGA port on this whatsoever in the back, which to me is a little bit different. You do have the display port on here. However, if you wanted to run to DVI or VGA, you could get an adapter and then plug it into this USB port back here. So maybe that's why there is a USB port on the very back. This isn't very common, and it's also not very common that you don't have a DVI or VGA port in the back. But so I'm assuming that's why they put that 4th USB 3.0 port on the back side there. Okay, the next thing we're going to show you and let you listen to here is the audio package on this NP9370. Now these do come with Onkyo speakers. You do get 2 speakers located up here on the top, just left and right, and then there is a subwoofer located underneath there as well. Now the audio package on this is actually pretty good. SAGER has definitely taken a step in the right direction with improving the speaker and the sound package that they've been putting on their systems. I think that's a complaint that some people have had in the past, and you know, with them being a smaller manufacturer, they're definitely going to listen to what their customers have to say, and so they are taking a step in that right direction. Now the audio platform on this is also very impressive. It is a Creative Sound Blaster XFI MB2. Now the difference between the MB1 and the MB2 is that the MB2 has THX True Studio Pro on it as well. So the audio package on this is very nice, and we'll actually let you take a listen to, I guess, the sample music that comes on here, which basically comes on any laptop system. It's not the greatest music, but hopefully it'll give you a little idea into the sound quality. Alright, so I know that probably wasn't the greatest song in the world, but you know, pretty much every laptop comes with that song on it, so we try to play that in every video. And actually, in my opinion, when listening to the sound quality on this, I just did a video review yesterday of a MSI Barebones that has the Dynaudio speakers on it, and actually the sound quality on this, especially with that Sound Blaster XFI audio platform on it, is very comparable to Dynaudio speakers. And actually we've gotten quite a few requests to do some sound audio comparisons between multiple laptops, and that's going to be a video that should be coming in the very near future. So, you know, be on the lookout for that. Overall, the sound on this 9370 is very impressive in my opinion, especially compared to some of the SAGER systems that we saw last year. Okay, next we just wanted to show you the system BIOS here on the SAGER. Now, in order to get into the system BIOS, and probably most of you know this, but in case you don't, when you're booting up your laptop, you simply just hit F2 a bunch of times until it pops up, and then you're in your system BIOS. Now, in system BIOS, there isn't ever a ton of stuff you can do, and actually this is the first time I pulled open this laptop system BIOS on this test model that we got directly from SAGER. And there's a few components that I didn't realize we had. For example, we have a Crucial M4 128GB SSD in there instead of the stock 500GB 7200 RPM hard drive like I mentioned during the specs portion of the video review. We also have upgraded memory. We did double the memory in this. We have 16GB in there. There is 4 DIMM slots on this system, so you can go all the way up to 32GB if you like. I do apologize that I didn't look at the system BIOS before starting this review, so the hard drive and the RAM is slightly different than I mentioned in the specs, but these are upgrade options that you can get from us on our website. VGA card here, you can see we have NVIDIA GTX 680M. We do have the duals in here in SLI mode. Going over to advanced, this is RAID capable with having 2 hard drives in that mSATA slot in there for storage, so you can set this up in RAID. A couple other little things. One thing SAGERs have that some other systems don't is they have these sound indicators for power on and battery low, so you can set those if you like. I don't, but you know, you do have that option in there as well. Security, which is the 3rd tab over, you can set up a supervisor password. You can do that pretty much in any laptop system BIOS. Boot priorities, you can go in and change these, tweak these if you like. I usually don't mess with that stuff too much, but you know, it is an option in there if you need to. And then of course the last tab, the far right tab, is just save and exit. So again, in system BIOS there isn't a lot you can do. One of the things that I always like to take note of is that this is RAID capable, which is an excellent option for you. Okay, the next thing I wanted to share with you here is some benchmarking and overclocking scores. Now, just a reminder, processor in here is that i7-3610 quad mobile in it, and then for graphics cards, we do have the dual NVIDIA GeForce GTX 680Ms in it. So this is a phenomenally impressive machine, and for a 3D Mark Vantage stock score, hopefully you can see it there, we got 36,500 points, which in my opinion is probably the highest 3D Mark Vantage score that I've ever seen. This is actually going to beat a lot of desktop GPUs as well. You know, not all of them of course, but you know, for being a mobile graphics card, having dual 680Ms in SLI mode and getting a 3D Mark Vantage score that high, to me is just insane. Now, we did do some slight overclocking on here. For an overclock score, we got another 700 points, which is, again, this is a safe overclock. You know, if you're not comfortable with overclocking your system, and we usually sort of recommend most customers from not doing it themselves, we can overclock these for you as well. And so what we do is we go in and we take a snipe image of this, because we did this overclocking earlier. We'll take a snipe image of the original benchmarking we did, and then we'll go in and we'll tweak this system until it's at a safe level, especially with thermals, and then we'll take a snipe of this image as well, and we'll give those to you for your records in case you ever want to reinstall your operating system or anything like that. That's a common question that we get, you know, hey, if I get the Redline Boost, which is a service that we call it on our website for our graphics cards, and the overclocking service, you know, what happens if I need to reinstall my OS? Do I lose that overclocking? Well, we save all that information for you, so then if you need to, you can go back and you know, do that overclocking, and you know what those levels are. Swinging over, we did do 3D Mark 11. 3D Mark 11 score, we got, hopefully you can see it there at the top of your screen, we got 9,773 points. Again, that's a huge 3D Mark 11 score. Some people ask what's the difference between 3D Mark 11 and 3D Mark Vantage. 3D Mark 11 is a lot newer than 3D Mark Vantage, and a lot of people use 3D Mark 11 more than 3D Mark Vantage. We also did a overclock here on 3D Mark 11, and we got almost 10,000. I was hoping we would hit 10,000 just because I've never seen 3D Mark 11 score hit 10,000, especially on a laptop. But this is, you know, just insane scores, especially for stock and overclock. Now with these dual 680Ms, you do have dual graphics cards in there. You're not really going to need to overclock if you don't want to, just because the performance power of having dual 680Ms is going to be, you know, just huge. So hopefully that gives you a little bit perspective of what these dual 680M graphics cards can do. Now, a couple of months ago, we did a laptop review of the Alienware, and that had dual 7970M graphics cards in it, and that also came with the i7-3610 quad mobile processor in it. And so we'll actually show you on your screen here those scores side by side from the Alienware with the dual 7970Ms compared to this SAGER NP9370 with dual 680Ms in it. So hopefully you get, you know, a little bit of perspective of what to expect if you did decide to get the dual 7970M graphics cards in this system, given that was done on an Alienware and this is a Clevo SAGER, so it might be slightly different, but we just wanted to show you that comparison. That way, in case you did want to opt for the dual 7970Ms in this SAGER, those are scores that you might expect to see. So hopefully, you know, you enjoyed that little comparison just to give you a little bit more insight into the graphics card's capabilities on this SAGER NP9370. Okay, the next thing you'll be seeing on your screen here is some thermal temperatures. Now, we're always sort of looking for a new and unique way to showcase certain laptops on these video reviews. So we have a thermal imaging camera that we took these photos with. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that these thermal images were taken while the system was going through some overclocking. So these are probably going to be the max temps that you'll see on this system. Now, looking at the keyboard and the point device area, the keyboard is staying very cool. It's staying under body temperature, which is 98.6 degrees roughly. So everything is going to feel cool to the touch. Looking at the touchpad and palm rest area, those temperatures are extremely cool. And I think some of that has to do with that rubberized material that's on there. You know, definitely keeps that area cool, so it's going to always stay cool to the touch. The cooling system on this SAGER NP9370 is phenomenal. I think one of the, I guess, fears of this system is that it would get extremely hot, considering the fact that it has dual GPUs in it, but actually the cooling system on this is extremely impressive. And next what we'll do is we'll actually take off the bottom cover and show you the inside, show you the fans, the heat sinks, etc. Looking at the exhaust vents in the back, you can see this first one we're showing you here is the left side GPU exhaust vent. There is a lot of heat coming out of here, and actually in this first thermal image that we showed you, you can see there's a lot of heat being pushed out on the table in the back. That's completely normal, and that's good. That's what those vents are supposed to do. They're supposed to suck all of that hot air out from both of those GPU vents. Looking at the bottom, you can see, and we'll actually show you where those vents are on there. You know, extremely cool, given I probably wouldn't put this laptop actually on my lap because of its size and its weight. But if you did have it resting on your knees and thigh area, I guess, if you will, the temperature is not going to get all that hot. Now again, this is when we were running 3D Mark Vantage overclocking, so these are probably going to be the max temperatures that you see. Okay, the next thing, and actually the last thing we're going to show you is the inside of here. First thing I'll quickly point out, the subwoofer is located under here. It's always good to remove your battery from your system before you start fiddling with inside components. Make sure that it is in fact unplugged. Then the next thing that is always important to do, flip the laptop over and then hold down the power button for 10 seconds, and that will actually drain any you know, little minimal power that might be left in there, because you don't want to screw up any voltages or get shocked or anything like that when it comes to you know, messing with inside components. Okay, so taking off this back cover, there is 4 screws, 2 on either corner and 2 in the middle, and we'll go ahead and take those off here. Okay, back cover, slide it out, and there is the inside. Now what we have here is we have one GPU up here, second GPU here, both fans running here. The heat sinks sort of looks like a New York subway tunnel map. There's heat sinks running everywhere through here. 2 RAM slots right here, and then the the other 2 DIMM slots are located opposite the keyboard on the underside. Your subwoofer is here. Be careful with that, that is magnetized. You do have your Wi-Fi Bluetooth combo card there, and actually your CPU is located under this fan, and we'll go ahead and pop that off for you so you can see it under there as well. Okay, so to take that off, there's 3 screws there, and then your fan lifts up. You want to make sure that you disconnect your fan also, and then hopefully you can see it in there. Heat sinks covering up your CPU. So your CPU is located here, your heat sink, and then your CPU vent running out here, and then GPU 1, GPU 2, heat sinks and fans also pulling those out. So yeah, that's basically the inside. Your hard drives are going to be located up here. Okay, so hard drive, 1 screw, this slides off, and then you have dual hard drives in here, and they're actually stacked on top of each other. Your mSATA slot is going to be located right in here between your RAM and your Wi-Fi. So hopefully that gives you a little insight to the inside of this system. Again, there's heat sinks running everywhere, but it does have 3 fans, which is really nice. Definitely cools very well. Yeah, so that's the inside of the SAGER NP9370. And thank you for watching Exotic PC's video review of the new SAGER NP9370. This is built on that Clevo P370EM. Phenomenal system, dual graphics card capable, either SLI or AMD Crossfire. So you can get the 7970Ms dual, or you can get dual 680Ms like our system had in it today. You can get a single 7970M or a single 680M if you like. And one of the nice things that I will say about SAGERs is that, for now, if you want, you could go with the single graphics card, and then in the future you could add that second graphics card if you want, if you don't want to spend the money right now. Phenomenal system. This is one of our favorites, probably our top favorite right now. Just released a couple of weeks ago. It's a phenomenal system. This is definitely a great choice for you, especially if you're a gamer, if you're in the multimedia field, like you're a graphic designer, photographer, videographer. This is going to be just the perfect system for you. Definitely check it out on our website, which is exoticpc.com. That's XOTICPC.com. Configure yours yourself. We have a lot of great discounts and offers on there right now as well, on all SAGER systems. Check those out. If you have any questions, you can contact us directly at our toll-free 1-800 number, which is listed below, or at our email address via email, which is sales@exoticpc.com. Any questions you may have, feel free to ask us. If you have any comments or feedback about our video review, you can go ahead and leave those below in the comments box, and we will get back to you very soon. So thank you again for joining us today, and we will see you in the next review.